And let's go straight across to the big global story coming in. The entire world is watching every development in the Russia-Ukraine stalemate as a part of the US President Donald Trump's efforts to end the 3-year-long Russia-Ukraine war, Deepak.
That's right, Shivangi. And US and Russia are all set to hold another high-level meeting on March 23rd in Jeddah. Here's the report.
Kremlin has said that Russian President Vladimir Putin discussed with US President Donald Trump about the upcoming Russia-US talks in Saudi Arabia's Jeddah. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said the negotiations on the Ukraine ceasefire will continue in the coming days.
Мы рассчитываем, что переговоры будут уже на экспертном уровне продолжаться и продолжатся в ближайшие дни. Об этом речь шла, в том числе и президенты говорили о необходимости таких переговоров. Они говорили о том, кто мог бы представлять страны на таких переговорах.
US President Donald Trump is insistent on ending the 3-year-long Russia-Ukraine war with a ceasefire between the two nations. US and Ukraine agreed on a 30-day ceasefire proposal in Jeddah on March 11. It is pertinent to note that President Putin has showed some reservations about the ceasefire during their telephonic conversation. President Donald Trump is inclined to resolve the Russia-Ukraine conflict at any cost. And for this, he is ready to negotiate with his Russian counterpart. While President Trump is downplaying Ukraine's fear about Russia, US's European allies are openly backing Kiev. Now all eyes are on the upcoming US-Russia talks that are scheduled to take place on March 23rd.
And the new legislation passed by Indonesian parliament has triggered street protests in the Southeast Asian country.
That's right, and this law, which allows the military personnel to take up civilian posts, causes fear that the country might get back to the days of military dictatorship. Here's more.
Protests have broken out in Indonesia over a controversial revision of the country's military law on Thursday. The law will expand the role of armed forces in civilian affairs. In a plenary session, all 8 political parties represented in the parliament backed the bill. House Speaker Puan Maharani led the unanimous vote in a plenary council and officially passed the law. The law will allow more civilian posts for the military officers. President Subianto, who was himself a former military officer, took the charge in October last year and has been expanding the armed forces' role into what were considered civilian areas. Subianto was the defense minister in previous Joko Widodo government and was a special armed forces commander under Indonesia's former military dictator Suharto. Human rights groups have criticized the increased military involvement, fearing abuse of power, human rights violations, and impunity from consequences for actions.
Dan saya nggak mau itu terjadi lagi gitu. Saya tahu di zaman-zaman itu banyak sekali penyalahgunaan kekuasaan dan memikirkan bahwa hal itu akan terjadi kepada anak saya, keluarga saya itu saya takut sekali jujur.
The protesters are of the opinion that the laws could take the world's third biggest democracy back to the new order era of former strongman President Suharto, when military officers dominated the civilians' affairs. The government has said the bill requires officers to resign from the military before assuming civilian posts. Time will tell what impact will the new legislation have on Indonesia in coming days.